everyone. So good morning to all of you. Today we are going to continue with the wave optics, and today we are going to study about diffraction and polarization. These two things. So first let us go in a quick manner what is diffraction formulas. See here, same like Young's double slit experiment, same experiment when you consider, but here what we have done is we have closed one of the slit. So now we arranged only one slit. So earlier there was two holes, two slits. Now there is only one slit and the slit width is something A. Now here one source is there, so light rays are going. Now here they arranged against screen. So in Young's double slit experiment, if you close one of the hole, one of the slit, then what pattern you will see on the screen? That is what diffraction. So what pattern we will see is opposite to the central one, we will see one bright white fringe, central bright fringe, and you will get alternative bright and dark with decreasing intensity and with decreasing width, with decreasing intensity as well as with decreasing width. As light bends at sharp edges like this, so because of this bending, the light intensity slowly decreases as you go down or up. And that bending of light at sharp edge only we call it as diffraction. And here the formulas are like, see this one we call it as central bright fringe. Now if you leave this, the next one we call it as first secondary minima. This is first secondary maxima. So except to the central one, remaining bright fringes we call it as secondary maxima, and all the dark fringes we call it as secondary minima. So first secondary minima, first secondary maxima, then second secondary minima, second secondary maxima, so on. Here also from the central fringe, what is the distance of one particular fringe? Maybe third secondary maxima or third secondary minima. But here the condition will become reverse. So here in case of maxima means bright fringe, the distance will become 2n plus 1 lambda d by 2a. Lambda d same here, a there d. There d means distance between two sources. Here a is the width of one source. And here n equal to 1, 2, 3, so on. First secondary maxima n equal to 1. Third secondary maxima n equal to 3, so on. And here minima means the distance, means the condition will become reverse. That is n lambda d by a, where n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So n equal to 1 means first minima, n equal to 2 second minima, so on. So this is the different, slightly different condition in case of diffraction. And also they will ask you here from the central one, suppose what is the angular position of secondary minima, second secondary minima or third secondary minima or fifth secondary minima. That is called here a sin theta equal to n lambda, where sin theta equal to n lambda by a. This is the angular position for nth minima, nth secondary minima. Same way here sin theta equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2a for nth secondary maxima. They can also ask here, most of the times in case of diffraction they will ask what is the angular position of particular minima or maxima, where you have to understand the formula, that is sin theta formula. So if theta is greater, take sin theta. If theta is smaller, then take approximately theta. But in terms of radian, 0.1 degree, 0.2 degree means very small. So that you can take it directly in radian. So that way they can ask linear position or they can ask angular position of any minima or maxima, nth secondary minima or nth secondary maxima. So this way they can ask questions based on diffraction. And one more thing also they will ask here, that is, here central one is having the maximum intensity. Let's take the I naught is the central fringe intensity. When you consider this or this or this, nth secondary maxima, the intensity equal to I naught sin alpha by alpha whole square, where alpha value is pi a sin theta by lambda, where sin theta is condition. Just now we have seen sin theta for nth secondary maxima is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2a. So first, suppose they ask what is the intensity of third secondary maxima, then take n3, substitute here, find sin theta, then substitute here, find alpha, then substitute here, get the intensity, where I naught is the intensity of central bright fringe. Also here they can ask the question one more thing, that is, if this is the source, now what is the angular width? If this is theta, this is theta. So what is the angular width of central fringe? That is 2 lambda by a. And what is the linear width of central maxima? That is 2 lambda d by a. If you observe the formula, linear means d will be there. Angular means d will not be there. Even in previous conditions also same thing. So based on this central maxima also they can ask you question. Most of the times they ask what is the width of central maximum, angular width or linear width. So this way they can ask questions. We will try to understand what are all the questions they can ask, means type of question and how to apply the formulas. Now one more thing what we have to understand here is, as I said, the last one is polarization. What is the topic? Polarization. Let's try to understand what is the polarization nature first. See, when you consider a light, we said till now, or Huygens said that light travels in the form of waves. Light travels in the form of waves. So here, light travels in the form of wave, and based on that, they couldn't explain this phenomena shown by light. Then what they have done? Then Maxwell came and he gave one more nature. He said not just wave. Light is an electromagnetic wave, he said. Electromagnetic wave. That means when light is traveling in a particular direction, then at every point, let's take like this. This is the direction of propagation of light wave. Now at any one point, in any direction perpendicular to this, you can consider infinite directions are possible perpendicular to it. So in one direction electric field will be there, and perpendicular to both of them, what will be there? One more field, that is magnetic field. Like two perpendicular fields associated with it at every point, such that both are perpendicular to each other in any possible direction. But these two must be perpendicular, and these two must be perpendicular to direction of propagation. So here polarization means what? Polarization means when you consider a normal light, the electric field can be oriented in any direction. So when you consider the light propagation, at one point the electric field is like this, next point like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. The condition is that should be perpendicular to this. But here infinite directions are possible. So the wave, the light wave which is traveling such that the electric field orientation is in all the possible ways, different directions at different points, that we represent like this. That is called unpolarized light. Polarization means orienting the electric field component along one particular direction. That we call it as polarized light. That means if the light is traveling such that everywhere the electric field vector is in one direction like this, or sorry, here like this. Here let's take like this, like this, like this, like this. So we can represent with a dot. So suppose like this. This is the propagation. Now the field is everywhere like this, or the field is everywhere like this, or the field is like this at particular angle. But it should be along one particular direction. That light we call it as polarized light. So this is polarized light. This is within the plane, this is in the perpendicular plane. So that is the difference between polarized light and unpolarized light. So depending on the orientation of electric field component associated with the light electromagnetic wave, we define whether the light is polarized light or unpolarized light. Now here one device will be there, that is called Polaroid. So what is this Polaroid? Polaroid nothing but a crystal which is like a sheet, which has one axis like this. So like a sheet. So when you consider a sheet, there is one axis like this. So when light passing through this, what kind of light is this? Unpolarized light. What is the nature of this device is, see, the light is traveling. Let's take like this. So this is the axis, the vertical one, like this. Now the light is traveling. Now when light is traveling, electric field component at one point may hit like this or like this or like this or like this. But the nature of Polaroid is, it will allow only component parallel to this axis called transmission axis. So it can transmit only through this axis. That is the nature of this one. So simple thing is, we wear the cooling glasses in summer. That is because to cut the light. So we are cutting some light. We are allowing only particular light that has the electric component in this direction. So cutting of light is called polarization. So we use the spectacles to decrease the intensity so that we feel coolness. So that is what polarization. So here when it is coming out, only the electric field vector parallel to this line only will come out. So that's why this unpolarized light will now convert into polarized light. So unpolarized light means electric field orientation can be anything. But polarized light means electric field orientation at every point same. And who can convert this thing? Polaroid. And this is the device called Polaroid. Either you can type polarizer also. You can take it as polarizer. A device which can convert unpolarized light into polarized light. Now here first thing, suppose unpolarized light intensity I naught falling, then the polarized intensity approximately half. It will come approximately half of the initial. When an unpolarized light converted into polarized light, the Polaroid device we call it as polarizer, and the intensity becomes approximately half. This is the one thing. Now based on this, how they will ask question, that is important. So here what they will ask is, suppose there is a polarizer. Now one unpolarized light fall on it, some intensity. Now here polarized light will come out, some intensity. Yes, son. Let's take this is I, or this is I naught. So the polarized light intensity. Now you place one more, but here the difference is, this is like this, but this is like this. So one is straight, one is like this. So there is some angle between the transmission axis, like this is like this, suppose this is like this, or this is like this is like this. So there is some angle between transmission axis of first Polaroid and second Polaroid. Then what happens? See here, try to understand carefully here, like this. So here, this is the transmission axis of this one. So the electric field will come out only to this one. So parallel to this one, like this only electric field will come out. But here now I am arranging like this, one more at some angle. But the polarized light has the electric field in this way. But this will not allow. Then what it will do? It will divide into components. One is along this, one is along like this. this perpendicular one will stop and this parallel one will come out. So again light will come out such that electric field is parallel to this. Direction change, but unique direction. But again some portion got cut here. That means again intensity what happens? Changes. Now this we call it as polarizer, which can convert unpolarized light into polarized light, so that the intensity becomes half. And here the intensity coming out formula is given by I equal to I naught cos square theta. This is called Malus law. What is this Malus law? When a polarized light falls on polaroid called analyzer, where the angle is at some angle theta, but usually they will mention 2. So when there is a polarizer, then they will arrange one analyzer, because both are polarides, but first one we call it as polarizer because it will convert. Second one we call it as analyzer because it is just decreasing the intensity, and that decreased intensity is I, that is I naught into cos square theta. So where I naught is, or you can take simply I dash equal to I, where I dash is intensity coming out of analyzer, I is intensity falling on analyzer, and theta is angle between transmission axis of polarizer and analyzer. Suppose in generally I am telling there is one polarizer, now there is one analyzer. Now here one I naught intensity fall. Then here how much will come out actually? I naught by 2. Now here how much will come out? I equal to, see, I means intensity falling on this one, I naught by 2 cos square here theta. Like this you need to understand. Or suppose they can ask question like this also. Just one more example I will explain you. See here, this is one polarizer, axis is like this. This is another polarizer, axis is like this. Now I kept here one more, this polarizer like this. So one is like this, one is like this, one is like this. Let's take this angle theta. Then what is this angle will become? 90 minus theta. Now here I naught intensity fall, this is unpolarized light. Now they are asking what is the intensity coming out here. First, this is polarizer because unpolarized light will convert here. Now let's take this is I naught, means this is I naught by 2. Let's take I1. Now this is analyzer, so I1 is the intensity falling, which is I naught by 2. Now here let's take I2 is coming. So I2 what it will become according to Malus law? The intensity falling I1 plus into cos square theta. Theta is the angle between transmission axis of polarizer and analyzer. Now this intensity falling on this one such that now the axis are at an angle 90 minus theta. Now here the intensity, let's take I3, that will become I2 because this is the one falling and this is the one coming out, I2 cos square. Now the angle between them is 90 minus theta. So that I3 equal to I2. I2 is I1 cos square theta into cos 90 minus theta is sin square theta, where I1 is I naught by 2. So cos square theta sin square theta. So this kind of questions many times they asked based on this. Either 2 or 3 they will give. You just have to look at what is the orientation between their transmission axis. Then you have to apply the Malus law. That is what mainly you have to focus. Now, after this, when you consider, suppose there is a material, substance having refractive index mu. Now, one unpolarized light coming and falling here. Then, you adjust the angle of incidence. You keep on change and adjust. So, at one particular point, means at a particular angle of incidence called angle of polarization angle, what you will achieve is the reflected light and the refracted light both becomes perpendicular. And in that such situation, what you can observe is, and here both are polarized in two different directions. Here this is also polarized, this is also polarized. Both are polarized. Reflected light also becomes polarized and refracted light also becomes polarized. So this is called Brewster's law. So this is possible for a particular angle of incidence. So at that particular angle of incidence, what condition you will achieve? These two becomes 90 degrees. Then this will become, see this is I means this is I. Now this is R. This total angle if you consider I plus 90 plus R equal to 180. So I plus R equal to, if it goes up that side, 90. So I R equal to 90 minus I. Now you apply Snell's law. Sin I by sin R means sin 90 minus I equal to mu by 1. Sin I by this is cos I it will become, so tan I, but where I is IP equal to mu. So for a particular material of refractive index mu, if this condition satisfied, that angle of incidence is called Brewster angle or polarizing angle. At that angle, these two becomes perpendicular and these two becomes polarized light. This is called polarization by reflection or refraction. So based on this also they can ask questions. So based on these things they will ask you usually. Now see, one last and final thing, that is resolving power. Resolving power means, suppose in a simple manner I will tell you, there is a convex lens. You take two objects very closer. Now the images are coming superimposed, overlapping. Now you increase the separation. They also little bit separated. Now as you are keep on increasing, at a particular minimum distance you will get independent images, below which you will get overlapped images. So this is the distance, minimum distance it can divide or it can show separately or it can detect separately. Because if there are two dots very closer and if you look at from far distance, then you cannot see them as two objects. You can see them like very closer, so you can take them like one object. So when they are very closer, you cannot detect. When they are some distance, you can detect. Like that, every device can detect two closer objects as independent images or independent objects for a particular minimum or more than that. That minimum distance we call it as limit of resolution. Limit of resolution. That is the minimum distance which we can take it as separate, which we can observe them as separate. And resolving power means we are able to see them separately up to this particular distance. So lesser the distance you can measure, greater is the power of resolving. That's why resolving power is nothing but reciprocal of limit of resolution. So the resolving power formulas will be there, that I will give you as a list. So based on this resolving power also they can ask you question. Resolving power of telescope, resolving power of microscope. So those formulas also you please remember and just try to understand the data they have given and try to substitute. So that type of question also we will solve it, don't worry. So this is all about the wave optics, what kind of questions will come. Now we'll try to solve few questions. So in the next class we'll see dual nature of radiation and matter. Thank you. Diffraction and polarization. Here the very first question is angular width of the central maxima. What is the formula for angular width of central maxima? 2 theta equal to 2 lambda by A. Like if you consider central maxima, then so this is theta, so total angular width 2 theta, that is 2 lambda by A. So lambda value they have given. When the same slit is illuminated by another monochromatic light, the angular width decreases by 30%. The wavelength of this light is. So let's take this angular width as something. Let's take x, 2 theta as. Now initial, it is angle, no? So better to consider just like some angle theta, or better to take pi. Now here we are not changing the width of slit. So pi is proportional to lambda. So that pi 2 by pi 1 when you consider lambda 2 by lambda 1. Where they are asking lambda 2, that is pi 2 by pi 1 into lambda 1. Lambda 1 is given, that is 6000 angstrom. We have to find lambda 2 where the relation between pi 2 and pi 1 is the second angular width decreases by 30%, means pi 2 is pi 1 minus how much percent decrease? 30%. 30 by 100 pi 1. So that it is 70 pi 1 by 100. So that you will get the pi 2 pi 1 ratio. Then you substitute here, then you will get the answer. Now after this, just solve it and you will get the answer. Next question. So in a diffraction pattern due to a single slit of width A, the first minimum is observed at an angle 30 degrees. What is the condition for minima? A sin theta equal to n lambda. So first one means n equal to 1. Theta they have given as 30 degrees, where wavelength is 5000 angstroms into 10 power minus 10 meter. Now they are asking the first secondary maximum is observed at an angle of. First secondary maximum. What is the condition for secondary maxima? A sin theta equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, where n equal to 1, 2, 3, so on. First one they are asking, so A sin theta equal to 2 into 1 plus 1 lambda by 2 equal to 3 lambda by 2. So lambda value they have given. Now A value they have not given. So A value we calculate from initial condition. A equal to, let's take this is, suppose this is for the minimum condition. So A into sin 30 is 1 by 2 equal to n is 1 into lambda. So A equal to 2 lambda according to the first condition. Now you substitute here. So that here sin theta, this is for first secondary maxima, 3 lambda by 2. A I will bring here. So 3 lambda by 2 into A is 2 lambda, lambda cancel. So 3 by 4. So what is the answer will become? Sin inverse 3 by 4. As I said, so based on diffraction, usually they will ask linear separation or angular separation, or linear position, angular position of first minima or secondary minima or secondary maxima. So just remember the condition properly and try to take the data and calculate properly. Now, one more question. The linear aperture whose width is 0.02 centimeter is placed immediately in front of a lens of focal length 60 centimeter. The aperture is illuminated normally by a parallel beam of wavelength. So wavelength they have given. So wavelength value they have given as something. Now the distance of the first dark band of the diffraction pattern from the center. So the distance of nth dark band is n lambda d by a. So now here linear aperture whose width is, so a value they have given 0.02 centimeter. Okay. Now if you convert it will become 2 into 10 power minus 4 meter. Now a value we got it. Lambda value also if you convert y into it will become 10 power minus 7 meter. Now they are asking first one, so n equal to 1. Okay, fine. Lambda given, n given, a given. What about capital D? Here they are telling they are using a convex lens. So what is the meaning of that one is when a parallel beam falls on it, it will focus it will converge to a point called focus. That means you have to arrange the screen at a distance which is equal to focal length. That means capital D should be equal to f. So that is the indirect data they have given. Whenever they are telling in the
diffraction based question like they are using convex lens. Focal length means you have to understand that focal length is equal to capital D value. That means the slit and screen for distance. Like if there is a slit and here they will arrange one lens so that at focal length they will focus. That means capital D should be equal to F. Now F value they have given, that only will become capital D. Then you can find Yn where n equal to 1 because they are asking first one. So this is another important type question where they will mention lens. They use lens just to focus the diffracted light on the screen, and that screen must to be at a distance equal to focal length. Now after this, one more question. For a parallel beam of monochromatic light of wavelength lambda, diffraction is produced by a single slit whose width A is of the order of the wavelength of the light. If D is the distance of the screen from the slit, then the width of the central maximum will be. So it's a direct question, so I think no need to do it. The width of the slit is central maxima is 2 lambda D by A. So see, it is a previous NEET question and they have given direct formula also. Sometimes they may give, so it depends. Or same kind of question they can give, but they may give numerical values. Then take the same formula and try to substitute the values and calculate it. Now let's take, here two more questions are there. First one, the angular width of the central maximum of the diffraction pattern in a single slit experiment. Oh, this is also direct question. So the linear width is 2 lambda D by A. This is linear width, and angular width means 2 lambda by A. So that is what the condition. You can understand direct formula. Already I explained. Now the next question. In a single slit diffraction pattern, the distance between the first minima on the left and the first minima on the right side is 5 millimeter. Okay, here the thing is, if this is the slit, this is the screen, this is the central one, and here they are telling first minima. This is the first secondary minima, means this distance is y1, that is minima condition is n lambda d by a, so this will become lambda d by a. And the other side is also there is a lambda d by a. So the distance between first to secondary minima, one side and the other side. So that is nothing but, according to the diagram, that is 2 lambda d by a. Nothing but the linear width of principal maximum. That they have given as data 5 millimeter, that is 5 into 10 power minus 3. Where the screen on which the diffraction pattern is displaced at a distance means the screen is displaced at a distance of 80 centimeters. So capital D value they have given. And the wavelength also they have given 6000 angstroms. Now what they are asking, slit width, that means A value. So from here A equal to 2 lambda D by 5 into 10 power minus 3. Lambda given, capital D given. So just substitute and calculate. See, I told you always the question looks big, but if you understand, the solution becomes easier. So that is what the main thing. Most of the questions are like that, especially with wave optics. Now let's take one question based on the polarization. So two Polaroids P1 and P2 are placed with their axes perpendicular to each other. And unpolarized light I0 is incident on P1. A third Polaroid P3 kept in between such that it makes. So one example already I said. So P1, P2 are two Polaroids with their axes perpendicular to each other. And one I0 intensity unpolarized light falls. So how much will come out? I told you I0 by 2. Let's take this is I1. Now the third one you placed at an angle such that with this 45 and with this 45. So how much intensity will come out? Let's take I2. Then what is the I2 formula? I1 cos square theta, where theta is 45. So between this and this. So I2 equal to I1 is actually how much? I0 by 2 into cos square 45. 1 by root 2 whole square means 1 by 2. So I0 by 4. This much of intensity emerging out of this one. Now this will fall on this one. where the angle between these two is again 45. So the intensity coming out of the last one, I3 equal to falling is I2 into cos square theta, where I2 is I0 by 4 cos square again 45. So that is again 1 by 2 will come. So I0 by 8. So what is the final emerging intensity? I0 by 8. So step by step you have to take. So an unpolarized light converted into polarized means intensity becomes half. Next, when you take another polarizer, then you have to use Malus law. So what is the intensity falling and what is the intensity emerges out? So those simple calculation based questions will come. Now here, when the angle of incidence on a material is 60 degrees, the reflected light is completely polarized. Okay, so completely polarized means this is angle of prism or Brewster angle, that is mu. So tan 60 equal to root 3 equal to mu. So indirectly what data they are giving from here? Mu value. Now what they are asking? The velocity of the refracted ray inside the material is. So velocity inside the medium means c by mu, where c is 3 into 10 power 8. Mu is root 3. So 3 by root 3 is root 3 into 10 power 8. So here the condition they have given is some angle that you should understand that is Brewster angle or angle of polarization. Then you can take the formula tan IP equal to mu. Then you can get the mu. Then you can find speed very easily. Now one more question. The critical angle of a certain medium is. So they have given critical angle. The critical angle of a medium means sin c equal to 1 by mu. So c. So here sin c equal to 1 by mu, the polarizing angle of the medium. So that means they are asking tan. So tan IP equal to what? Mu. Now mu equal to 1 by sin c from this condition, where sin c is how much they have given? 3 by 5. So that means 1 by 3 by 5. That means 5 by 3. So tan IP equal to 5 by 3 means IP equal to tan inverse 5 by 3. So what is answer? Option B. So this way they can ask question based on Brewster's law also. Now here an unpolarized beam of intensity I0 is incident on a pair of Nichols making an angle of 60 degrees with each other. The intensity of light emerging from the pair is. So here I0 is incident on a pair of Nichols making an angle. So there are two polarizers where they are making an angle, how much? 60 degrees with each other. Now I0 intensity falling means first it will become half. Now I0 by 2, let's say that is I1 falling on this one. Now how much will emerge out? I1 cos square theta, where I2 equal to I1 is actually I0 by 2 into cos square 60. Cos square 60 is how much? 1 by 2 whole square. So 1 by 4. Again how much it will become? I0 by 2. So such simple questions they used to ask based on polarization and diffraction. Also I said you that the resolving power of telescope and microscope, that is d by 1.22 lambda, where d is the diameter of the aperture of objective, because telescope means there is one objective lens, there is one eyepiece. So d is the diameter of aperture of the objective lens and lambda is the wavelength, and 2 mu sin theta by lambda. This is the resolving power of microscope, where mu is the refractive index of the medium between object and objective lens, and theta is the angle made by the object at objective lens. Objective eye lens means the object will focus at the, suppose this is object. Now the angle made by the object at the objective eye lens, this angle, and lambda is the wavelength, or mu sin theta is also called as numerical aperture. Sometimes directly they will mention in the question like numerical aperture of the value. So then you have to take directly mu sin theta value. So they may give mu and theta separately, or they may give mu sin theta together. So based on these two formulas directly, they can ask you questions like find the resolving power sometimes. But these days they are not asking question, but still you just remember the formula, then you can get the questions. So this is how the questions will come based on diffraction and polarization. So please just try to remember each and every formula, remember condition, and try to solve properly. So we'll continue in the coming class with the dual nature of radiation and matter. So thank you.